I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Danny. Gentlemen, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from our last public business meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty. Item number 1, we have our new Frostburg State University President, Dr. Ron Nowacek. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you this evening. It is truly a pleasure to be with you. And it's good to see so many familiar faces. I finished my 4-month period was about 3 days ago, so I've enjoyed it and having a great time, so thank you so much. I'd just like to briefly update you on some things that are occurring at Frostburg State University, a lot of exciting news. The first item I'd like to mention, though, is a thank you with regard to the Allegheny County Opportunity Scholarships. I want to give you an update of where we are on that. We had about 100 new students join us, new freshmen join us this year from Allegany County. In the current year, we are awarding 197 students are receiving scholarships from the Allegany County Opportunity Scholarship Fund. I am very pleased to tell you that since it started, it's now over $500,000 that's been awarded to those students. And I think as president of Frostburg State University, we're very conscious of the cost of going to school, higher education, and the needs that many of our students and their families have for financial aid. So those scholarships mean a lot to the students. We certainly see them helping them move forward. We have a lot of students we know that are spending time doing part-time jobs and so forth, and those dollars mean a lot to our students. And once again, thank you for seeing forward that this is such an important thing for this community to help us. It really is very important. I also want to mention that we are moving along in some construction, the public safety building. Some of the people here were involved with the signing of the beam recently. We have now a roof over the building. That building is $5.5 million in construction. 80% of that money is staying in Maryland, and the majority of it is in Allegheny County. And so we have a lot of local construction work being done on it, people employed in the area that are helping with it. So we're very excited about it. We hope to have that building completed in February of this upcoming year, at which time we'll have a ribbon cutting as we move into that new building. As you may know, the current FSU Police Department is located in an elementary, what was designed as an elementary school back in the 1960s. So we do need this new facility, and we really are looking forward to that being completed. As well, we have some other new things going on which I think will be helping economically for the region. We have received money from the University System of Maryland funds, as well as some bond money we'll be putting out to be doing some upgrades to 5 of our residence halls that have been built between 1967 and 1976. They've reached the age of about 40, 45 years old where they need new roofs. I would say HVAC, but they didn't have AC when they put those buildings in, so we'll be adding the AC to the HV and upgrading the buildings for our students who are here. And as well, we'll be building a brand new residence hall that will increase the opportunities for our students who are looking for a variety of residence features. Many students today are looking for things like suites where they can live in little groups or with students together. So we'll be starting construction on that building in July of next year with completion hopefully by July of 2019. At the same time, and due to the work of our delegates in Western Maryland as well as Senator Edwards, we have gotten some design money to begin our next academic building, which is going to be in education and health sciences. That building, if everything stays on track, would start when the residence hall is completed, and we would start that in July of 19 with finishing the building in July of 21. So optimistically, we're hoping to have construction on the campus over the next 4 to 5 years. Clearly, that's going to result in some construction and opportunities for employment for people in the region. We're really glad to see that happen. It also shows, I think, the vitality of the campus. Along with the vitality, there's a number of things that we've been recognized for. I just briefly want to mention that we're very proud of, and I think fits Frostburg State University's mission as well as its reputation in the region. We've just been recognized by the Washington Center in Washington, D.C. for our internship program. We've been named the Public University of the Year. We had over a dozen students this past summer working with the Washington Center, where they had the experience of working with different groups, different agencies in Washington, D.C. In today's environment, internships are very critical. If students don't do something outside of the classroom, they're going to be at a disadvantage. And so we want to make sure our students stay as competitive as they possibly can. We also were rated by Money Magazine as the best value college based on the quality and affordability and the outcomes for our students. Traditionally, in terms of rankings, most of the rankings that were done 10, 15 years ago focused just on a very narrow set of criteria, and U.S. News and World Report is probably the most famous one that many parents look at. In the last several years, there have been other ratings that have been coming out that are looking at things like affordability and value, and as you might suspect, Frostburg State University does quite well in those areas. An agency, a student loan comparison company called LendEDU, ranked FSU 113th in the United States in terms of the amount of average student debt. We were the second lowest in the state of Maryland. So 113 out of almost over 1,200 schools indicates that we're doing the best we can to help students with their keeping the debt down. We also have been cited by GI Jobs magazine as a military-friendly institution for the 5th year. So we're very proud of the things we're doing with regard to our students, which brings me to just briefly an update of where I see things going this upcoming year. One of the things the two things that I continually mention, one is student success. And we talk about student success, we're talking about giving students an affordable, valuable education. And as I tell parents when they're visiting on campus, the best way to keep college expenses down is to have students graduate in 4 years. I must say that many of the students enjoy going to college for 5 to 6 years. But the parents, I think, will find it better in terms of the cost if they can get them to graduate in 4 years. To do that, we are monitoring our freshmen carefully to help make sure that they stay on track. We have what are called 8-semester plans so that a student can guarantee to graduate in 4 years if they stay on the plan for their major. We also are doing quite a bit of work with Allegany College. I've had a very good relationship with Dr. Bambera at Allegany College. We're looking for opportunities to do seamless transfers of students from Allegany College to Frostburg State University. That may mean in some instances what we'll call dual enrollment. When a student comes in, we enroll them at both institutions so they can have an advisor at both schools. We can help them with financial aid to make that transition from one school to the next as seamless as possible. The idea is we know students in many instances choose schools based on financial need as well as the programs that might be offered. We're looking for ways to help these students succeed. And we're also looking at students who complete associate's degrees and are going to go into the workforce but may need a bachelor's degree at some point to help them develop programs that they can get online so that we can work with these students. So while they're working adults, it's a convenient, relevant program to them to help move their careers forward. The other thing I will mention is regional engagement, economic and community development. Very clearly, when I was hired, the Board of Regents, and I think they should be congratulated for this, it was a point of emphasis on their part that they expect Frostburg State University to be involved in the economic and community development of the region. And I think you will hear me refer to FSU as a regional partner. I take both words very seriously, regional in the sense that we do want to do what we can for Western Maryland, and partnerships meaning something that's a win-win for both. I have been telling people we are not a bank. We will not have money to give people for economic and community development, but we do have something that's very valuable. We have talent. We have faculty and staff that we can assign to help on projects that may be coming up in the communities, many cases to help jumpstart something that might be of value to a community if they're going after funding through grants or foundation money to help move things forward. We also will be having our Small Business and Development Center much more active. We're going to continue their activity with the economic development groups to help businesses in the region. I think what most people are finding in rural America, that entrepreneurship, people starting small businesses, is the secret for the future. And it really does increase the pride of the community as well. So we'll be working very closely for opportunities to do that. Vice President John Bowman, who's back here, has been doing things with government relations for us and has been taking a lead in some instances for grant opportunities and working with some communities on some ideas we may have in Allegany County. I also want to mention that our cultural entertainment series is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. So we will continue to be a cultural hub and an opportunity for individuals who want to visit and enjoy some of the arts that might not otherwise be possible. We have a number of events coming up this year that I think will be very interesting. We have in 2 weeks a group called the Midtown Men, which are actually 4 of the performers, the actors from Jersey Boys from Broadway, who will be here. One was a Tony Award winner, one was a nominee for it. And we have Capital Steps, a comedy group, coming at the end of October. So there's a lot of different things this semester that we're going to be providing to the community. And I just, on a personal note, would just like to conclude and tell everyone here, thank you so much for the warm welcome, the acceptance from my family and myself. We really enjoyed the community. We've been here 4 months, enjoying the people, enjoying the region. And I understand snow doesn't really come here. So I actually have been told about the difference between Cumberland and Frostburg. Right. No, we had a great time. People have been very warm and welcome. We thank you so much for that. We're enjoying it. My wife and son have both enjoyed the area. We're really glad to be part of the community. So once again, thank you so much.
Great. And welcome to the area, Dr. Nowacek. I know you've certainly hit the ground running your first 4 months. And we look forward to working with you, not just as the president of Frostburg State, but also as you're the head of an organization that has over $125 million in economic impact to Allegany County every year. So that's a big deal. And we also have an award for Frostburg State. And Bill, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
This is an award that actually Allegany County received at the Winter MACO, Maryland Association of Counties. It's an award given jointly each year by MACO and the University of Maryland. And each county submits programs to be judged. And the deciding factors mainly are they want to see a program that has the largest possible positive impact on the greatest number of people. They want a program that is sustainable. And they want a program that does not cause debt to the county. And our Opportunity Scholarship definitely meets all those criteria. So there's 2 awards given each year, one for urban counties, one for rural counties. So we were in competition with 17 other counties. So we thought it was a great honor to receive that award. But our program would be nowhere without our partnership with FSU and ACM. So we had 2 additional plaques made. One was already awarded to ACM a few weeks ago, and we'd like to give you your plaque.
Please, come on.
Use your phone.
She can't see. She's on film.
All right, thanks.
We got it. We got one.
Yeah, I broke the camera. Sorry.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Item number 2 is the Allegany County Soil Conservation District 75th year anniversary. Mr. Thomas Butler. Welcome.
It has been a privilege to work with the county over many, many years. Our agency continues to strive to bring much resources and working together with your staff to meet mandated needs that are often unfunded. Over the years, we continue to work to provide high water quality, to decrease nutrients that go into our bay, to also work to decrease sediment and erosion in our county, which often comes out of the frame of soil conservation, because we don't think of that as having a cooperators or, let's see, how do I want to phrase this? A community impact on the individual landowner. We thank you for all the things that you have done for us and with us. We continue to work with the agriculture community to provide best practices so that they can improve the quality of farming that they have. I'd like to have the staff and supervisors stand at this time. These gentlemen put many hours of dedicated service into the agency and the direction that we work together with the state and federal partners, and also our local government, which is you folks. We thank you. We have something that we would like to pass out to you at this time as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
There we go. Fair enough. Thank you. All right.
Well, thank you, guys. We appreciate that. 75 years is a pretty big landmark, and you guys have a big direct impact on the county. And it's speaking from someone that has worked with soil conservation for almost 30 years now, that very important to us, so thank you. Adam, it's good to see you here tonight, sir. Thank you for everything you do.
And we do have a proclamation, so you are going to have to come on up to the front.
Oh, right. You're going to have them all come up, ain't you?
All of them, that's right.
Yep, bring them all.
Thank you so much.
Somebody.
Never.
Oh, yeah.
We're all going to fit in here one way or
All
the other.
lined up here somehow. No, you can get that in order.
All right. Chad?
Side profile, there we go.
No, you're good. Brother, pick the right game.
The proclamation reads, Allegheny County government wishes to recognize the 75th anniversary of the Soil Conservation District, which was created on September 24th, 1941. Allegheny Soil Conservation District offers services and capably serves the citizens and stakeholders of Allegheny County. We, the county commissioners, wish to commend and extend our sincerest appreciation, gratitude, and warm congratulations to everyone associated with this organization, past, present, and future. We proclaim Saturday, September 24th, 2016 as Allegheny Soil Conservation Day. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dave, we good?
I think we're all good.
Thank you. Very good, thank you. Dave, thanks.
We got some good ones.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
And I think County Attorney Rudd drafted those bylaws back in 41, didn't he?
I think he was just an intern.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't pass the bar yet.
He hasn't passed the bar to today.
Right, yeah. Item number 3 is our Allegheny Center for Lifelong Learning. This is our first anniversary proclamation. Nick Cluley? Welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm happy to be here. I'm listed on the agenda as a founding member, but I'm not the only one. I and a number of other people began meeting a year ago, June, July, and August, to talk about developing programs that would provide intellectual stimulation, learning opportunities, as well as social engagement for retirees, older adults, to keep their mind active and so forth. And we came up with a nice set of programs for a year ago this fall. We launched our first program in September a year ago, and we've been going strong ever since. So we appreciate the Commissioners recognizing our first anniversary and the importance for the community of sustaining lifelong learning and both cultural, social, intellectual activities for adults. And we hope that having a program like this might also be an incentive for, people to retire in this area, and it could, in some small way contribute to economic development. So again, thank you very much, Commissioners, for the proclamation and recognizing what we think is an important contribution to the community.
Wonderful.
One question, with your interest in such activities, what are you doing hanging out with Al Feldstein?
We want to get back to the bars quickly.
He's the entertainer.
Well, we try not to,
We understand.
We understand.
the people we encourage to participate.
Really
And
never
we
put,
find, we find stimulation in all kinds of personalities.
but you used intellectual stimulation.
That's right. Okay, come on up for the program.
I can,
Yep, please,
whole gang.
please, everybody.
rest of our
This is a requirement.
our board of directors and who are most of the founding members.
We also forgot to mention that we also are partners with Allegheny College of Maryland, which we're very proud
Well,
of.
see, you didn't tell me that I should say
Look
that.
at that. Nice to meet you.
She's not going without you. All right.
They're working their way up. Yeah, we're trying to get the center.
I know, I don't wear those shoes.
I think we can. Whatever. There we go. All right. This one reads, the Allegany Center of Learning, Lifelong Learning, which exists in partnership with Allegany College of Maryland Continuing Ed and Workforce Development, is celebrating its first anniversary. This organization demonstrates that Allegheny County offers a vibrant community in which to live, learn, and explore. The Allegany Center for Lifelong Learning contributes to the quality of life for senior citizens. Therefore, we, the Allegheny County Commissioners, proclaim Thursday, September 15th, 2016 as Lifelong Learning Day.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We don't have any gifts.
I better take that proclamation off, I'm sorry. Can't skip out on the photo shoot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was so nice. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we get pictures to you.
Bigger and better things.
There we go. Wonderful. All right, if you want to sneak out, now is your chance.
Those who stay get extra credit.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I tell you, where's Paul? He's got some pretty big fields to shoot, pretty big shoes to fill.
Paul can't make it. He's trapped back there.
He's trying to sneak out. Someone.
Item number 4 is our electronics recycling event. Mr. Paul Kale.
End of the month. Hey, don't you read the paper?
Where's
Obviously,
Sierra?
Dave looked at the agenda and saw it was next. And
It's normally Sierra that does this.
Sierra's would probably like to be here, but she's at the beach, so
Oh, yeah. It'd be
I'm
a
sure she
killer
would like to come back. There's only a couple people in Soil Conservation Service. I would point out that Ben Sampson, ex-county employee, and Steve Young, and
Yes.
current county employee, and I think Steve broke the record on this one, didn't you, for the most boards in Allegheny County? Or they've been a good organization to work with over the years. I'm here about recycling, and you mentioned Sierra. She's put all the work into this, and she asked me if I'd come and announce that we were doing this. Also, Steve Young's put some work in this, and then Woody Getz from Frostburg, and
Yes.
Cal Ketterman from Cumberland, and the whole Solid Waste Management Board, probably one of our most active boards. You go to the meetings, almost everybody shows up. When there's a committee to do work, they show up. You'll probably see we have volunteers at these events that they show up on their own time doing this. So what a really good board to work with. If you recall, back in January of 2015, we did a recycling event, and it was an overwhelming response. And if you recall, I think you guys talked to Dave and myself saying, hey, we need to do one of these again.
Yes.
Because we actually turned people away. Unfortunately, we didn't expect that response, and we had to shut it down at 2 o'clock. So we're having another one. The exciting part of this is Sierra and the Solid Waste Management Board really worked hard on this one. The last one was an Allegheny County event, and it was held out back. This time we have not only Allegheny County, but the city of Cumberland, the city of Frostburg, the town of Allegany and the town of Westernport have all received grants.
Wow.
We get a total of $33,000 we currently have, which is a 100% grant. There won't be any cost to the citizens except for TVs. TVs will be $5. So it's really, they put an aggressive program together. I'll give you, I would like to hand out those. If you don't mind passing those. Sure. Sierra, the board have worked hard to post those all around the town. Today in Cumberland Times News, what you see there, what you have in front of you today in Cumberland Times News, and I believe she's putting in these one more time so people can see what's going on. They're really trying to be active and get people to be able to be served. So if you look at that, we are going to be in 7 sites throughout the county. We're going to be at the Penmar, which is back here behind our building. We're going to be at the Flintstone Refuse Site. We're going to be at the Mountain View Landfill. We're going to be at Little Warnings Refuse Site, Allegany Town Hall, Old Town Refuse Site, and Westernport Town Hall. So you really see we're really reaching out to every part of our county. And if you look at those times, you see that not only we have just one day, we're doing this for a week. So it's Monday, September 22nd through Sunday, October 2nd. So there's a big window there for opportunity. And actually one of those nights, we're going to have an evening one here at the Penmar from 4 to 7 on a Wednesday. So we're trying to meet people's needs that may work during the day and can't get there during the day, at night. Or they get there at night so they can't get there in the day. Again, there's a $5 fee for TVs. You can pay cash at every one of the sites except Mountain View. So it's important if they do go to Mountain View, they won't be able to pay there. They need to get a prepaid sticker, which they can get at any of the sites that we currently sell our landfill stickers for. So, and that's the only cost it would be, the $5 for the TV. And also, so we got the flyers, we've advertised in the paper, and our website too. If somebody wants to go to the Allegheny County website, go to Public Works, and then go to the recycling office, you'll see all the information here that we've posted. So if there's any questions, again, there's been a lot of time and effort into it, and I get to tell you about it, but I haven't put a whole lot of time and effort. Sierra's kind of handled most of it with her board.
Great.
Well, I do know this is a big hit. I was just asked this week when we was going to be doing this again, so very good. We get it up and get it on the website and get people know. Fantastic. Thank you, Paul.
And I would add, I think a lot of people, there is, again, people like doing things for free, like we all do. But I would add that I think the last time, people that weren't aware, you can recycle well back at Penmar. There's a cost to it. There's certain items. It's not a huge cost, but there is the opportunity to recycle all during the year. This is just an event where you would not have to pay for that, except for the TVs again. So thank you for your time.
And Paul, we do have a hazardous waste event coming up next year, probably?
We're going to try. We have had some issues with those in the past. The first one we did, and Steve might be able to jump in, the state paid for. They have not since jumped in one of those. When you get into hazardous waste, it opens up a whole door. It's a tough issue. So something we can look at. We did one in the past, but we haven't did one recently.
Thank you, sir.
How about another automotive tire event? I know that one.
Tire fire.
Well, what we did with
Filled
there,
several trailers.
every time we did one of those, they've been sponsored by the state, we've had to kick in money. But since then, we've collected them at the outlying sites, and I think we only charge a couple bucks. And we haul them, if you ever notice, if you go back in the county roads building, we haul them in here, and then we periodically haul them away, and we end up having a fee for that. So we're trying to provide that to the people. But obviously, everybody wants to get rid of the tires for free.
Yeah, because one of them we filled the trailers as they was coming in, didn't we? And had them,
Multiple trailers.
yeah.
We did these out at the
It was
fairgrounds, and they've been
huge.
used
Yeah.
events. And I would add, that reminds me of something, some of the issues we had. These are for, this electronic cycling event is for Allegheny County residents only. They will be asked to provide ID, so
Absolutely.
it is a county event for county residents that we're putting time and effort into.
So if you don't live in Allegheny County, you better move here.
That's
Okay?
If you
Look,
want to take advantage of this
free
event.
recycling.
yeah, you're not freeloading across the bridge, okay?
Wow. Okay.
Tell that to the airport board meeting.
Negative.
When his votes from
I say
Ridgely.
nothing.
That's right. I just lost Ridgely.
Carpendale.
The whole, all the way to Paw Paw. Item number 5 is a quitclaim deed petition. Mr. Steve Wilkinson.
Sir?
My name is Steve Wilkinson. I'm an attorney. I'm representing Sean McCann and Gary Blake, who have made a request of the county to issue what's called a quitclaim deed to a tract of land which is basically west of the state highway right-of-way, east of Shades Lane, in the city of Cumberland. And briefly, what a quitclaim deed is a deed whereby a governmental entity or a property owner simply says, whatever interest we have in the property, we give to you, we deed to you, even if we don't believe we have any interest in the property, and even though we may not, in fact, have any interest in the property. And it's a vehicle which is used to try and tie what are basically loose ends in terms of the title to the property. This particular piece, we've requested a quitclaim deed from the city of Cumberland, also from the state of Maryland through the State Highway Administration. The issue goes back to the 1950s when State Highway acquired, for purposes of the development of 68, what was then the Joseph Lidner Farm. And that farm was part of the Lidner family property, which goes back into the early years of the 1900s and actually into the 1800s. When the state acquired the property, it took an option, back up a moment, it had developed plats already using the Lidner property to develop plats showing what the right-of-way was going to be for 68. And acquired the entire Lidner property on the basis of those descriptions, but in the option they also acquired any and all other lands owned by the Lidner estate. The deed ultimately came from the trustee of the Lidner estate, as well as any other remaining heirs of the Lidners, to the state, and contains the same verbiage with respect to any and all other lands which the Lidner owned adjacent to Baltimore Pike. What happened when that occurred is sort of a problem between assessments and taxation and the State Highway Administration. Assessments and taxation listed all of the property east of what is Goethe Street addition to be the Lidner property. The state and the tax maps then reflect that the State Highway Administration had acquired all the way down to the lots on Goethe addition. State Highway takes the position that its property ended where the plats otherwise ended, and basically say, we don't care what the option says or what the deed says, we're only dealing with what the plats show. Dr. McCann and Mr. Blake acquired from the state the unused portions of the right-of-way that were subsumed in those plats. When they recorded the deed, the assessments and taxation felt that it now owned all the way down to Shades Lane. But the platted description is only the top of the ridge. If, for ease of reference, if you know where the offices of McCann Roberts Dermatology is, this property is to the north side of that and extends for about 15.5 acres between Shades Lane and the top of the ridge. What we're dealing with then is that land which is between the property which McCann and Blake brought from the state and the lots at the end of Gerta Street addition on Shades Lane. We do not believe the county has any title interest in the property. The county, if it has an interest at all, would be because it arguably could be vacant property, it could be escaped property, which we get into the world of potential tax issues as to a property owner. So for that reason, also the same reason for the city of Cumberland, we're asking both those entities, if they would, to execute the quitclaim deeds. We're not looking for any warranty of title, and we don't believe, in fact, that there is title, but we do need to clean up all loose ends, and that's really the purpose of the request. We have also gone to State Highway and are in the process of getting State Highway to do hopefully the same thing, so that all three governmental entities that might have an interest. And we believe, quite frankly, that the State Highway does own title to the area in question. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about it that anyone has.
Gentlemen.
Sir, I'd have to refer to our legal, because I don't like ground that's not on the tax map, so we need to fix this.
This would put it on the tax map.
Yes.
Well, this whole area was on the tax map to the name of Lindner
No,
originally?
well, at one point, the problem also becomes, I attempted to get as part of the title work on it, the tax maps from 1950s. Even going through the archives, the last one, the only, or the earliest one I could get is 1960. And in 1960, the State Highway had already acquired it. But I have that, and if you look at that, and I think I sent it to Mr. Rudd, what you'll see is they show State Highway, owning all the way down to what is the easterly side of the Gerta Street addition property. There were a series of lots on the east side of Shays Lane, which was part of that addition. And that, we believe, is indicative of the fact that assessments and taxation had everything owned by the Lindners down to that area, and all they did when State Highway acquired everything from the Lindners was substitute State Highway Administration for the Lindner. The property's been off the tax rolls since then.
Would the Lindner estate then have any claim to this if the
No.
state's saying they didn't take that land?
No, because what the state acquired, it acquired, and the language in both the option and the deed, the Lindner estate and the Lindner heirs conveyed any and all interest they had in any property to the state. So it would be the state's. There would be no issue with regard to Lindner heirs or anything involving the Lindner estate.
So then it is saying that the state does own that land.
We believe the state does. Now, I have a letter from an AG which was written to State Highway saying, basically, we know we own what we have plats for, and wouldn't express any opinion, well, actually express an opinion we don't own the boundary part. I don't believe he's correct, but the request we've made of him is, okay, if you don't own it, if you don't believe you own it, fine, give us a quitclaim deed. Because again, you're not certifying title, you're not claiming you have title, but it gives us the ability to get whatever interest you have, and we are reasonably comfortable that that, coupled with the quitclaim deed from the county and the city, would solidify title to the property. And quite frankly, this is all part of an economic development because Dr. McCann and Mr. Blake own what is left of the Gerta Street addition lots. They own on top, and they own property. Mr. Blake owns property all the way out, and there's interest in putting everything together to make it a developable parcel for economic development. So it not only would put the parcel back on the tax rolls, it makes it a more attractive parcel for economic development.
And have you looked into the letter you referenced from the Attorney General's office? They brought up the name of Charles Smith, that
Charles
they felt
Smith.
that might be, and I actually saw your name as having done his deed, or your firm did his deed.
The Charles Smith property lies to the north of this property and stops. And I've run title on the Charles Smith property, I've run title on every property in that area. The Charles Smith property stops on the north side. The property is bounded on the southerly side by Willowbrook Properties LLC and Welton Wood. Willowbrook Properties LLC is who's going to be constructing the hotel there. The Welton Wood is the McCann Roberts parcel. On the east by McCann Blake, having acquired through a tax sale and ultimately foreclosing the equity of redemption, the Gerta Street lots on Shades Lane. On the east side, it's owned by Dr. McCann, Mr. Blake, having acquired that from the state, and on the north by the Smith parcel.
Got it.
Sir,
And you can
Mr.
also
Rudd.
on the tax.
Yeah, I think you've answered my question about Smith. This was surveyed, I believe, was it
It is.
not, by Bennett Brewer?
Bennett Brewer, I have The quitclaim deed I originally presented to the county basically had a description which set forth the boundary parcels, and it references the Smith parcel as a boundary. They have had a survey done, and I have a new quitclaim deed which actually has a meets and bounds description of the property.
Good.
It is 15.57 acres, and I have that with me tonight. But again, we are simply requesting of the county its consideration.
Bill, by making this motion, the only thing we're really saying is we have no interest or ownership in this ground, correct?
That's correct. I mean, he's correctly described a quitclaim deed. I mean, I could give you a quitclaim deed for your house. I'm simply saying I don't own it, but whatever interest I got, I've given it to somebody else.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't. And the only thing what I would suggest, I mean, I think I'm comfortable that why it's being asked for, and clearly, as Steve's spoken, the county really doesn't have any interest in this. It may be, as he's indicated, some theory based upon escaped property, it didn't get taxed, and somebody could claim, well, if we'd have taxed it, we'd have gotten it or whatever. You prepared a quitclaim deed, the new one, which I haven't seen, and the only thing I would feel a little more comfortable with is some language in the quitclaim deed that kind of gives an explanation as to why we're being asked to do it, not the concept itself.
Sure.
So, I mean, so I think what the commissioners could do, if they're a mind to do this, they could approve the execution of the deed this evening, subject to my final review, and we could get it done pretty quickly.
Whatever you all are comfortable with.
That's-
I'm happy to draft
I'll
the
make
deed.
that motion.
All right, I'll second that one. And we'll just wait till those changes are made and with the new quitclaim, and we'll make some additional verbiage in there.
Just to make sure everybody's covered.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're just looking to protect the doctor's interest so that somebody doesn't come forward 2 years from now after a lot of money's been spent and said, hey, what about my deed?
I understand that. I appreciate that.
All right,
Absolutely.
Can I have a motion in a second?
there is a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So
Thank
you
you,
want to
sir.
leave a copy of what you have today, and then you and I'll talk, and we'll get this done quickly.
Get her back on.
Thanks.
Well, the city of Cumberland's doing basically the same thing?
Yes, sir.
So is that going to muddy the waters on a deed if they see that two different people presented
No, they will all be
something like
quitclaims.
this on the same piece of
Quite
property?
frankly, what will happen, once the 3 quitclaims are done, an entity will be formed, there'll be a deed then to that entity, and the title will trace back to the 3 quitclaim deeds as to that portion of the person. It doesn't, actually, as I said, it should solidify the title rather than create an issue.
Sure.
Thank you all.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Thanks, Steve. Moving to our action agenda, item number 6, Ms. Lisa Deal, Local Management Board of Allegheny
Hello.
County.
And I'm here tonight to ask you to approve and sign our community partnership agreement for the Local Management Board. The Local Management Board of Allegheny County is a private nonprofit consisting of mandated local child and family serving agencies as well as elected members representing parents and the community at large. And we oversee approximately $463,000 in community partnership agreement funding that is through the Children's Cabinet, the State Children's Cabinet, and use that money to purchase services locally that meet the needs of our children and families. So part of the process is asking you to approve and sign off on that contract, and also to thank you for your ongoing support.
I make a motion that we sign this.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing on the heroin issue. Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we all need a checkup, so.
Speak for yourself, young man.
Don't put that in the newspaper, come on.
But it'll be on the radio.
That's right, it will.
On the radio.
That clip will be played for. All righty. Item number 7 is transfer of real property in Barton. Mr. Rudd.
Oh, okay. There's a deed that's been prepared by my office for transfer of property in Barton, for the town of Barton, to be used for a garage for their street department. So,
I'll make said motion, sir.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very much for making that happen. The town is really excited about that. They can get their garage off of a hillside and down next to the town hall, and it'll actually clean up the area a little bit, so. Good for them.
Item number 8, we have Mr. Jeff Barclay, Economic Development Specialist.
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners. As it says here, county staff is looking for authorization to pursue formal negotiations for a portion of Cumberland Chase property owned by Summit Community Bank. And to put it simply, the timing is right for county staff to begin formal negotiations for that portion of property. As you recall, 3 years ago, commissioners approved a study, master development plan with Site Resources and Vantage Point site consultants, and to identify the needs for the once proposed residential development. The plan revealed many of the costs and considerations associated with land acquisition, infrastructure, and building construction for phase 1 of that development. Since that time, informal discussions have taken place on possible scenarios to make a project viable at that site. With all the discussions that have taken place since that occurred concerning the project and the property, the bottom line really still remains, despite the difficulties of developing the property, this property still remains very vital to the long-range stability, sustainability of the county's tax base and the growth potential that we have. And the first things that I can cite with that is all of us have heard that with real estate, you always hear one of the key components is location, 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 and this property definitely has it. I mean, the Middle Potomac Planning Region contains the largest designated growth area as indicated by the county's comprehensive plan. There's over 8,000 acres there. The property is the county's single largest potential for residential development. And likewise, it is adjacent to our largest contiguous area of available industrial property. And to take it further, it's also within a stone's throw of 2 of the county's major employers in Orbital ATK and the IBM center that is there, the latter of which has been consistently hiring, and it's a known quantity that the housing component is an issue in their recruiting process. And of course, they make no secret about it that they desire to hire an additional 600 to 700 workers over the next 10 years at that federal data center. I'll also add that this step in pursuing the formal negotiations would be consistent with the goal number 3 in our Allegany County Economic Development Plan, which basically says to increase infrastructure development to open new areas of the county for housing and business development. And it also would be consistent with one of the asks that the Competitiveness Committee has brought up before us. So with that, if there's any other questions, we're asking for authorization to pursue.
I think it's a no-brainer. I make a motion that we move forward.
I agree. I mean, we need more flat buildable land for companies that want to locate here, and especially if we can get it at a good price. So I'll second that motion.
Very good. I guess someone.
Yeah. How about gently rolling? Would you settle for that?
Gently rolling, flat
I watch
enough.
how you say flat.
There's nothing flat.
You know how my opinion is. I want the whole thing because it's our last big PFA area in the county.
I'm aware. That's what definitely, this is our growth area.
Yeah, this is kind of it. So.
Motion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Certainly.
Item number 9 is a Section 3 plan required for community development block grants. Mr. Nedved.
I think we're out of time, Jeff.
Yeah.
He's only asked 20 minutes for plan.
Hey, you have the next 3 items.
Yeah, I have the
my
next
God.
3 items, each item 5 minutes.
Down to 2.
Yeah. Commissioners, I'll kind of combine everything here. I am the next 3 items. Section 3 plan. Yeah, I'm asking authorization to approve Section 3 plan, a minority business plan, and a fair housing and equal opportunity plan. These are plans that are required basically by HUD and then in turn by the department, the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. We have to have these plans in place to receive funding for community development block grant. This year coming up, we've accepted $400,000 for Sunnyside Prince Albert Water Project. We don't sign these plans, we don't, that's one of the conditions, we won't get the money. These plans have actually been, some of them have been in place for quite a while, and certainly the county follows these plans. They don't necessarily need it put down on paper, but in this case, we put things to paper. What the state has done is asked that these plans get updated every 3 years. They used to be open-ended, so about, at this point, 6 years ago, they made them 3-year plans. And at this point, all I'm asking is that the commissioners update each of these plans. It's now 3 years have gone by. Briefly, the Section 3 plan requires the Board of County Commissioners to ensure to the greatest extent possible and consistent with existing federal, state, and local laws and regulations that employment and contracting opportunities are provided to low and very low income persons. Section 3 applies to all contracts awarded that exceed $100,000. When it comes to minority business, that the Board of Commissioners is required to make good faith efforts to contract with minority business enterprise and women business enterprises for goods and services. One of the things we do is contracts are posted on the Minority Business Development Agency website, and a link is sent to MBEs and WBEs that are appropriate for the contract. And lastly, on the Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Plan, that the Board of Commissioners is required to comply with all federal statutes and regulations and executive orders relating to civil rights, fair housing, non-discrimination, and equal opportunity. And it's not necessarily specific to any federally funded project activity. It's just, in general, the board creates an environment for its citizens where no one is excluded from participation or benefit due to their race, color, national origin, ethnicity, gender, disability, familial status, marital status, age, or religion. And I'm done. Commissioners, at this point, what I'm asking you is, I know it's 3 different items, but I'm asking for authorization for the president, for the president to sign each individual plan. But there's 3 separate motions.
You just want one vote.
So move, so move, so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's 9 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner.
You may now be seated, Mr. Chairman.
I know, it's almost curfew time. All righty, our consent agenda. Mr. Everly.
The Commissioners, this evening I have 3 items on your consent agenda for possible action. Item number 12 is simply a motion to reappoint Tom Finan as a member of the Library Board of Trustees. Item 13 is a motion to appoint Jamie Walsh to the Adult Guardian Review Board to fill the unexpired term of Jamie Spees. Item 14 is a motion to approve a travel request for the Sheriff's Office for personnel.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Mr. Everly.
Commissioners, we had a bid opening earlier this week. It was for the Braddock Run Sanitary Sewer Rehab Project. This is the final phase, phase 5 of that project. And we are hopeful that within 2 weeks that staff will have an opportunity to present a motion for award on that project. That's all I have.
Great. Mr. Rudd.
Actually, I do have something. County Commissioners had a closed session, an executive session on August 25th, 2016 at 3:00 p.m. And this is the statement required by law concerning that meeting. The Board of County Commissioners at a meeting convened on Thursday, August 25, 2016 at 3:00 p.m. voted unanimously to go into a closed session. The meeting time and place and the purpose of the meeting were provided in a public notice distributed on August 23, 2016. The notice was provided in the same manner and also to the same entities as received the Commissioners' regular business meeting notices. The meeting was closed in accordance with the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305, and the purposes for which the meeting was closed were as follows. 1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom the Board of Commissioners have jurisdiction, and any other personnel matters that affects one or more specific individuals, and that is under Section 3-305B1. Also, consultation with counsel to obtain legal advice concerning the above matters under Section 3-305B7. People in attendance were 3 commissioners, Administrator Eberly, myself, Brian Westfall, Director of Human Resources, as well as Recording Secretary Cindy Young. Discussion was had concerning the contract status of a county employee, as well as the effect of that employee's contract status on possible future personnel decisions for the employee's department. The commissioners voted to give direction to Director of Human Resources Brian P. Westfall to address the issue of the employee's contract. No further action was taken by the county commissioners upon motion made by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. The meeting was adjourned at 3:20 p.m. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Valentine.
Yesterday, I took a tour of the AES Warrior Run power plant with MD Secretary Grumbles. This is a real change of pace now that we have a new governor in place. People downstate know where we're at. We're constantly having visits by different secretaries. They also had one of the House committees was in Allegany County for a tour. But sort of interesting, Senator or Secretary Grumbles sort of dressed down when he came here because he was going to a coal facility and he thought he was going to get dirty. To his surprise, AES Warrior Run power plant, even though it's a coal generation plant, is as clean as most hospitals are. That place is immaculate. You don't see any coal dust. The interesting thing is that a byproduct of burning coal is CO2. And people hear about Coors beer being made from pure mountain spring water. Well, it also has CO2 put in it that is purified, captured and purified by AES. They sell that CO2. That's what puts the head on Coors beer. It's what puts the fizz in Pepsi. Those are the 2 biggest purchasers. Over 20 ton per day is the production of this byproduct. So that shows how clean the CO2 that they send out of that plant is 99.9% pure. It meets or exceeds any and all food standards. So, we're really lucky to have such a high-tech power plant in our county. It is a coal-fired power plant. It has a great economic benefit to us, and a lot of people say there's no such thing as clean coal. I would suggest anybody who wants to say that, go to AES where you run and take a look at that facility. Interestingly, though, AES is a national leader on what they call backup power for these generation plants. There are so many different peak needs and low needs for power that normal power plants have problems keeping up with the needs. Well, AES has created a battery backup. They have row after row of batteries in there that whenever there's a spike in need, these batteries can immediately supply that need. The power plant itself has been out of operation for a little over a week and a half. They have to rebuild one of their boilers, and yet it's still producing electricity because of the backup batteries that they have in place. It hasn't missed one day of operation. So I hope Secretary Grumbles had a nice visit. He was very impressed. And Creed, I don't think your coal business will be going away here in Allegany County too soon.
That is fantastic, Bill. Thank you. I wish I could have got out there. I was toured it a couple years ago with, at that time, Lieutenant Governor Brown, and he was the same way. He was very impressed. He left with
He was very impressed with you, yeah. So.
Yeah, well, that's a story for another time, but congratulations to Paul. I do like our infrastructure projects. I like our sewer projects, and I like our water projects. An area will never develop without these two core elements, and especially out through this region. So the next thing, I'm going to say this again publicly, we need to look into. We either need to dust off the map and get our infrastructure tied together like we did one time, spoke about the countywide water loop, or we need to do something out that valley, out through there with water distribution, because right now we're dealing with an issue that's extremely bad, and it's possibly could get worse, and we're going to fix this problem. So, Paul, that's something I'm going to talk to you about real close, because I've been dealing with it just about night and day here for the last 3 days. So it's something we're going to do. The next thing I was going to talk about tonight, and I think I'm going to save a lot of that for our Veterans Day meeting as we get closer, but on a personal note, and I don't like to really mix personal with business too much, but heartfelt condolence out to the Patterson family from Frostburg, to Walter and Jolene. I knew that young man, I know that family, and that's I hope that at least there's some peace, that I hope that he gets identified and they get something, because I haven't been able to quit thinking about that. And the same way with Sergeant Lenny Youngblood. So I have a story about the sergeant, but I'm going to save that for as we get closer to Veterans Day, gentlemen. So.
You know what, maybe on Veterans Day or that meeting we'll be able to roll out something a little special for that.
Thank you.
All righty. With that, we don't have anyone signed up to speak this evening. I'd just like to say that last week, one of the major economists in the Hogan administration in the private sector, Anaban Basu, was in Cumberland and he spoke. And it's interesting that the stuff that he says we need to be working on, we're so close to doing it. You know, he's talking about internships for young people and helping Frostburg play a bigger role, especially in health sciences and in those information fields. So it's stuff that we're so close. It seems like we're ready to break through. We've seen the first batch of retail come in, and I think we're hopefully going to see more of that. And as it keeps rolling, we're going to just see more development and more jobs in those upper incomes. So it's encouraging to see, and it's nice to have someone from the outside see opportunity in the region, and not just us that live it every day. That there is opportunity here, and look, if you're going to bet on some place in Maryland, Allegheny County and Cumberland and Frostburg are pretty good places to do it. That they're poised for some revival.
Something else on that note, one of the reasons why we decided to develop the Opportunity Scholarship was at a seminar that was run by Anaban Basu back then. He brought up the point that one of the problems with a lot of the rural counties was the higher education. At that time, Allegheny County had 13% of the population with a bachelor's degree or more. Last week at Greater Cumberland, that number is up to, I think he said 17% had bachelor's degrees. So hopefully that Opportunity Scholarship is going to help to keep growing that, because it's one thing to try to lure in high-end jobs, but if you don't have the high-end employees to take those jobs, they're just not going to be coming.
That's exactly right. All righty. Our next meeting is Thursday, September 29th in this room at 5 p.m. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, sir.